Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Donald Leonard with RE/MAX Northwest. I'm in Cypress, Texas, and this is your Monday morning shot of caffeine with a side of real estate. Now, this morning, I'm getting my shot of caffeine from a coffee cup that I picked up in a coaching seminar in San Diego, California. The cup doesn't really do much to promote the location, but it does give us some pretty good advice, and so I like to drink out of this cup every once in a while. Just remember, that's what I'm supposed to be out there doing. Now today I want to talk a little bit about a seller that I'm working with who had a question regarding whether or not he should upgrade his home to prepare it for the market. And after we talked a little bit, I really realized that that really wasn't his question. His question had to do with repairs. And sometimes people think that they are upgrading when in reality what they're doing is they're just bringing the property back up to par. So in this particular case, the property needs a roof. And so we know that it's not worth market value right now. The property will not bring market value because it needs a new roof. If a buyer was to come out to the property, see that it needs a new roof, they're not going to offer full market value. They're going to either expect the roof to be replaced to pay market value, or they're going to expect the home goes for below market value so they can replace it. That's the worst possible scenario because a buyer's thinking not only the $15,000 it's going to cost for the roof, they kind of throw in $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 more for an aggravation factor. The fact that I have to mess with this. So that's really not the best way to go if you're getting ready to sell your home. But putting a roof on the home will bring it back up to market value. But it is not going to catapult it above all the rest of them. Because to a buyer's thought is, okay, am I going to have to replace this roof before I move in? Am I going to have to replace the roof while I live there? Or am I going to have to replace the roof when I sell? That's a big one. So if the roof is a year old, or brand new, or 3 years old, or 5 years old, or 7 years old, they're not going to have to face any of that. They're not going to have to put a new roof on while they live there. They're not going to have to put a new roof on when they go to sell it if they sell it within 5 or 6 or 7 years. So to them, the value is all the same. So the question as to whether or not I'm going to get my money back, the answer is yes, as long as you're realizing that you're starting from below market value and you're bringing it up to market value. If you're thinking your home is already at market value, needing a new roof, and by putting a new roof on, you're going to suddenly move that value up by $15,000 or $16,000, that's not going to happen. So from a repair standpoint, yes, you should always repair the home and get it in the condition that it needs to be in order to sell. But back to this seller's original question as to whether or not we should upgrade the home, the answer is probably no. Now, there's a lot of sources out there that you can look at to see what the cost versus reward ratio is. And in most cases, most of the upgrades that you would do, the cost involved in doing that upgrade would not be recovered in the value of the home. So they do say that there are some upgrades that you can do that will get you close, that might be able to bring you back what you put into it. But again, that begs the question, if I'm only going to get out of it what I put into it, what's the use of putting it in there? Now, maybe if it makes the home sell a little faster, then, time is money, and so maybe that makes some sense. But if you're going to do some upgrades, they say that you do upgrades to the kitchen, and you do upgrades to the bath, and you might be able to do some upgrades to the outside, some things like a sprinkler system or upgraded landscaping or something like that to draw more attention to the home. But as far as whether or not it really is going to get you back what you put into it, in most cases, just a simple upgrade just won't do that. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do. Repairs, yes, absolutely, you should do the repairs and get the home ready for the market because people want to see a home that doesn't really need a lot of work, that doesn't need a lot of repair, that looks like it has been taken care of properly. That is what a buyer wants to see. But to go in and put, should I go and change out my solid surface Corian countertop and put granite countertops in? Probably not. You're probably not going to get that money back. Now, if you're in a neighborhood where everything else has granite and you don't, Now we're back to that scenario where your property is worth less than everybody else's because you don't have what everybody else has, and so that would bring it back up. So we really have to take a look at, it's not really, is this truly an upgrade or not? That's one of the things we have to decide, because it may really just be bringing you up to par with everybody else. So there's so many different things that come into play. There's no simple yes or no answer as to whether or not you should do it or whether you shouldn't do it. What we need to take a look at is, what has everybody else done? What does everybody else have? And do we need to get it in order to bring it up to what everybody else has? It's not a simple thing. It's not a simple yes or no question. And that is a place where your realtor can come in very handy. Look at the comparables. What has sold recently? What features did they have? And what features do I have? How do I stack up to there? And do I need to do some things just to bring me up to par with everybody else? Now, if you're in a situation where you're thinking that you might be wanting to sell and you have questions about things like that, I would be more than happy to sit down with you and go over what needs to be done, what should be done, what might be done, and how those things could help you in the value of your home. I'm Donald Leonard with RE/MAX Northwest, and that was your Monday morning shot of caffeine with a side of real estate. And I hope you have a great week. Enjoy your coffee, enjoy your week, and take care, y'all.